it's BJ and that samurai. How the fuck are you? Ah! Yeah, we're gonna critique Tron Legacy and shit. I got a fist, but we'll try to make it quick. Anyway,
we watched it in the van.
Yeah, I bought the DVD and the Blu-ray. I was gonna get it in 3D, but I had no way to watch it. But it's good in 3D. I saw it in IMAX in 3D, and that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
When you get the shots of Bo Garrett's ass and all that fucking white leather they're wearing.
I wanted to put a dollar bill
God
in there.
damn!
I couldn't find a seam in the outfit.
Bounce a quarter off her ass. And then
I
that
bounce a lot of things off her ass.
13, the lesbian from House, was in it. She actually looked hot in that movie. She actually looked hot in that movie because they gave her that funky hairdo. I mean, she looks like Gary Sinise, which creeps me the fuck out. But I guess we should probably talk about the movie. And
not just the chicks in the movie, but okay. When the Samurai first heard they were remaking Tron, I was ready to go on a liquor-fueled rampage down at Disney. I mean, seriously, you don't remake a classic like Tron. Like, somehow Disney fucks up and makes a decent movie in the 1980s. And then what do they want to do? Remake it? I'm thinking, oh boy, this is going to be a cinematic abortion worthy of me crapping on. But I had to see it. They got Jeff Bridges back. And,
yeah, they did.
Even though he was all rooster cock burned up, he still did the role exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And I love how he kept the 80s lingo. Radical, man. I mean, it was just... I mean, sure, he sounded kind of like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle from Texas, but...
Wireless interlink. I thought of that in 1985. I love that line.
But because they got Steve Linsberger cheese on it, he actually made sure that they kept as true to the original as the Disney marketing people would allow them. And despite Disney's best efforts, it turned out to be a pretty damn good movie. I mean, it's... Disney screws up on occasion and lets an actual cerebral thinking man's movie slip through on occasion.
I thought it was kind of clever they brought Cillian Murphy in there to play Dillinger's son, Edward Dillinger Jr. But you know what bothered me about it is you didn't have Sark in the Master Control Program.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would have been cool if Clue is corrupted, then you find out the MCP's really behind it and shit. But
I would have loved to have seen David Warner come back because that man is evil.
Yeah, I'm going to learn to speak like David Warner after I perfect my Alan Rickman.
But, the movie's got... I mean, needless to say, nowadays, getting good special effects is as easy as buying a $400 laptop.
Yeah, and the software's free. You just download Blender, and hell, it's better than... I've tried everything on the market. Blender's the best goddamn thing there is.
Send us money, Blender. But anyway, the point is...
send them money. They're the ones that need the money to develop it. It's a good software. Try Blender.org.
Right, Blender.org, give it a try. But anyway, despite the fact that special effects nowadays are easy to come across as bubblegum on the street, still, the set design is what stood out here. The story, the sound design, all the things that are usually neglected for whiz-bang special effects.
They got an Oscar for the sound ending.
Yeah, and Disney can buy Oscars like I can buy Pepsi, but it's still, it deserved it. One of the few movies that won an Oscar in the last 60 years that deserved one. And, I gotta say, I liked it.
I thought it was pretty good, too. I love the light cycle thing, too. That was pretty good.
They redid the light cycle, very true to form.
Gives him the little bar, and he holds it, and he's like, what do I do with this? I'll give you a hint. Not that. He just made an ass out of it.
I gotta say, bringing on Daft Punk to do the soundtrack was a good call. Those guys know how to make music with computers. I don't think either of them have touched a real instrument their entire musical career. And the fact is, they did the whole soundtrack, including the orchestral stuff. So these guys, they're very well-rounded as far as making movies. Usually when like a rock band or something does the soundtrack, it sounds horrible, i.e. Toto doing the soundtrack to Dune.
Well, it kind of makes sense to have digital punk music with it. I mean, it's like cyberpunk computer type of stuff. But it was a good movie. I liked it. And, the girls were hot, especially the sirens. That dark one that says he's different. I mean, wow.
Yeah, I'd like to find their USB ports.
Oh, yeah.
But, now, a couple of downsides to the movie. Now, he's talked extensively about it, so I'll let him take this one on.
Oh, about Bridges. Well,
Digi Bridges.
the thing is, what they did, and normally they blend shape stuff, which looks like shit. What they did with this is they mocap Bridges' face, and they remapped it on a younger CGI 3D model of Bridges, and then motion mapped that on another actor's head. And you can see that the motion matching is not perfect. I'm going to blame that on the software because that's not really. But the implementation of what they did with Bridges is when they map an old guy's face, you know, and I don't want to insult Bridges because he's a great actor, but he's like pushing 160. I mean, his face
he's
is
getting up there.
He's kind of wrinkled and saggy. When you're trying to map wrinkled, saggy flesh movement onto a younger, tighter CGI face, it's going to look like shit.
He looked like a talking action figure.
Yeah, what they should have had the computer do is reinterpret his facial movements and map it to the muscles. Have the muscles underneath drive the flesh, and then the skin on top would actually be like a cloth object, and it would have looked a lot more realistic. You could have had physics damping in there, and you could actually see it move. And you do it at a high enough temporal resolution, like 24 frames a second is not enough.
As it is, it looks like, I mean, he looks like a cartoon.
You do it at like 96 frames a second, so that you have like a fourfold increase in your temporal resolution, and then you cut it back down.
We just lost after non-nerds here, but then you know what I'm talking about. You know what he's talking about.
Most people wouldn't know the difference. I mean, I notice it because I look at it like, man, that looks fake.
But to the layman,
he
such
looks
as
good
myself,
when it's still picture.
Such as the layman to myself, it just looks fake.
Yeah, that's why.
It looks like he looks like he's out of the Polar Express. And
the texturing was good. I mean, the subsurface scattering and everything was perfect, spot on. You know, the stubble on his face was great, but when they moved him, it didn't look right.
You know, Bruce Boxleitner also came back. He did the voice of Tron,
good,
and I won't tell you where or how because it'll ruin the story for you. But anyway, Bruce Boxleitner came back as Alan. As we said, we had a cameo. We had a cameo by Cillian Murphy, which is like, this guy gets paid $11 billion just to pour it on camera, so why did they bring him in? That's the big question. Well, Disney, of course, is planning a sequel. I mean, they can crap out sequels.
And I think he's going to be the bad guy, or maybe the Master Control Program. I'm hoping
he's evil in real life.
Yeah, I'm hoping they bring the MCP back. Well, he did restart the sun. We got to give him credit for that.
He did.
And he died doing it, which is amazing that they brought him back, but that's probably why they paid him such a high salary.
Oh, yeah, I mean, when you
zombie gas is not
cheap. You got to jumpstart the sun. Luckily, they used the virus from 21 Days Later to bring him back.
Yeah.
He's still playing.
Oh, they used Trioxin 245 for Return of the Living Dead, because 28 Days Later only works on living people.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an enhanced rabies. It doesn't kill you. But the Triombies, you know, you need 245 to actually reanimate the dead.
And then you can't kill, and they just give him a steady supply of brains, and he's okay.
Yeah.
I think Anthony Hopkins just goes with, he's eaten Ray Liotta's brain for a while. But anyway, I'll tell you what, it's rare that we give a perfect score, in that we only give it half the time because there's only 2 fucking reviews up right now, but I gotta say, I'm gonna give the risk of giving it 4 fingers up, so.
Yeah, I'll give it. Yeah, what the fuck?
You go first and I'll give 4 fingers up.
Okay.
Oh, I went left to center.
Yeah, you gotta stay on the road when you take your hands off the wheel. That's why you gotta steer with your knee. So anyway, I'm BJ and that's the Samurai, and we're saying go fuck yourself.
Yeah.